That's easy.
We
Now
are live.
remember,
Okay.
Why
if
do
you
I
say
laugh
that we're
every
live
time?
too soon,
Mm-hmm.
the beginning gets cut off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So people who are watching live might have missed the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, well spotted. Yes.
You guys, this is Literary Roadhouse. One short story once a week. I'm Andy.
I'm Anise.
And I'm Gerald.
Oh boy. So this week we read Tonya by Bowie Rowan. And this little tiny flash fiction, I think they're calling it these days. The kids call it. It's a little bitty boy. It's about our bearded hero, who I will refer to as Beardo, known perhaps
name's
to some
Tony.
by Tony. Well, perhaps to some known as Tony. In Tony's heart, could Tony go by Tonya? Not
Maybe.
sure. That's the title of the piece.
Mm.
And Beardo, bearded hero.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to explain it every time.
I think I do.
And you're
Otherwise,
damn
it's going to be a
well
real
gonna
short podcast.
Let's just do the summary.
All right.
Yeah.
Beardo wakes up and wants a hoagie, or maybe a grinder, perhaps a poor boy, or a Zeppelin.
You don't have to read them.
A Cosmo, a Gatsby. I've never heard of Spooky or Spucky or whatever.
Yeah, I never heard of that one either, but I
No.
Googled it, and like that's legit. Some people call it that. It's apparently based on the kind of bread. I don't know what that means. I don't know what kind of
But he
bread.
wants a sandwich,
Yeah.
basically.
And then it's like, oh man, I did all my errands, but the hoagie shop don't open yet. Maybe I'll try on some of my wife's clothes, and I look real pretty. Ta-da!
Ta-da! Indeed.
And feel amazing.
Yeah, and feel amazing,
Amazing.
just like a hoagie. They're all delicious.
And he's beautiful.
Yeah,
We say, Tony, you're beautiful.
Tony, you're beautiful, but not he.
No.
No, Tony doesn't use he pronouns.
No.
Which
No.
had me thrown for a minute because I wasn't sure if it was the plural we.
I know.
I think is this Tony and Tony's wife? No, it's just Tony. Tony with the royal we.
I think it's Tony and the Reader.
Is it Tony and the reader?
Yeah. I thought for a while it was just
Ooh.
like a royal we throughout or a system, which we've talked about before. We don't need to get into right now on the
Yeah.
show. But I think it's Tony and the Reader. I think it's a way to draw you into the experience. And
Okay.
I think that's what it is. I don't love it, but
I don't hate it.
I don't hate it. But I kind of shrug a little bit. Nah.
Yeah.
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 But I
thought
think it's
you-
Tony.
Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
get it.
Tony and the
I-
reader.
And you see, the one thing that occurred to me, my one sort of flash of light thing, was and especially looking at, reading about the author, and wondering whether I took the main character to be using the doing the pronoun thing, the they pronoun thing. So I'm just thinking that the people who are very pronoun sensitive are very, very specific about how they want to be addressed. And if you get it wrong, then it's a big issue. And yet the story seems to be telling us, it doesn't matter what you call a sandwich is a sandwich. And it still makes me just as hungry. So
Well, but the
but maybe
author
I'm
goes
wrong.
by they and their, right? So that's still very more specific. I feel like we is still doing something literary and different, because if the point with Tony is that Tony contains multitudes, because that's what I think the sandwich thing is about.
Right. It's about containing multitudes.
Exactly. It's containing all the multitudes. You can give it's a sandwich, but you can give it a whole bunch of labels, and it all has its own history. It all feels different in your mouth. The word, it gives you a different vibe, and you might just choose the one your dad used, but it's all of these things at the same time. And I think that's the point of the whole sandwich bit of it.
Right. And I don't think it was that they're all the same. They're all
Right.
They're all wonderful.
Right. Or like they are and they aren't
Hmm.
the same, right? I think it's
Yeah.
both. It's they're all the same in when you zoom all the way out to the biggest category, which would be sandwich, which in Tony's case would be person. But then there's all these little things that make it different, right? Like you were saying, spooky or spucky depends on the bread, or like I don't know what makes something a grinder, but I think it just means Midwest, right? So like things depend. Now there are some differences, just like a blouse and a skirt is considered femme and it's a different expression, but it's all within the multitudes of a person. I think that's the point. But then why wouldn't you just call Tony they? Why we, you know?
Mm. And is he representing the fact that he is he's it's not multiple personality thing, but we are all complicated beasts made up of different types of thing. You know, we're all so we're all a sandwich, but some of us are hoagies and subs and that sort of thing because we're slightly different. So maybe he's saying he himself is a lot of different types of sandwich. I don't know. No.
Kind of, but not necessarily sandwich. A lot of different
Yeah.
kinds of identities, expressions.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
I'm
sandwich.
trying to say he
And,
was
yeah.
specifically
Well,
a sandwich, but
right,
using
right.
that analogy
Mm-hmm.
as if
Although the construction worker chorus line would be real cool.
Would be.
yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Singing and hammering.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good visual.
Yeah. You know, I think my so like it's super fast, super quick flash fiction, and what it's doing with the idea of a person or a sandwich is a person or a sandwich, but then you apply all these names, all are wonderful in their own way, and they all have their own histories, and they can all apply, and you can, you know, like that part fine, and for a piece of flash fiction it's effective. I think what bothered me the most about this story, which is like kind of like nitpicky, but like it's that I didn't get a sense of Tony's personality, because, and this is just like a writing style thing, there were all these flourishes with different metaphors, and normally when you're doing a close point of view, the metaphors you choose are something about like how the point of view character would think, you know what I mean? Like you're trying to, so I'm like, so Tony's this construction guy, but then he's also talking about the sartorial forest when looking at the wife's clothing, and then going through all of the different fabrics. And like, and there was just this thing where it was like, I can't figure out Tony's personality because there's all these writerly flourishes and metaphors that are cool and inventive. Like just we drive back, pick him up, talking about Tony Jr. We drive back, pick him up, ignore the harsh rays of teen misery emanating from him like an oppressive light. Then, well, shit. We look at our watch, it's only 8. So there's just like sense of like he's like
Right. That feels more like Tony's voice.
like I can't figure out Tony's voice, basically. Like I'm struggling with that a little bit. And so then I don't know when he finally starts cross-dressing. Like I don't have a sense of, is this the first time he's ever done it or not? Is it, and how radically, not radically changed, but like how much of an impact is, like the kind of person who talks about sartorial forest and thinks about harsh rays of like when the language that feels a bit more like literary and flashy, that is supposed to kind of, because with we, it sounds like it's supposed to be Tony, not the narrator. Then I'm like, that person cross-dressing for the first, like, I don't know how to explain what I'm saying, but basically somebody who's already a bit more like erudite kind of person, cross-dressing might still be a big deal for them, but they approach it in a different way than the guy who's always been extremely publicly presenting in a very masculine way, who punctuates sentences with fuck and shit and only ever wears steel-toed boots, right? Those are two different people, and how they react to cross-dressing is different. And that's what bothered me the most, is I'm like, I don't know how much of a big deal this is in this moment right now, because I don't know who this is. Like, that's what bothered me. But anyway, that's but then again, it's a style, because those flourishes are cool. I love those sentences.
Yeah.
But I just don't know who's saying them. So yeah.
Yeah,
I felt about the whole thing. Go ahead, Gerald.
Yeah. I think it's quite interesting that when he realizes that Danny's is not open, that at the time you take your wife and your son to school and work. But he says a hoagie goes by many names, blah, 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 all the same fucking thing. We think we open the closet doors wide. So I think it's showing us the different side of him. I think this is not the first time he's done it, because there was no hesitation. There's no second guessing. So it sounds like it's something he does. And maybe by saying, it's the same thing, it's a sandwich, but actually it's not. So then he shows this other side of him.
Yeah. When I first read it, I was like, yeah, this is not his first time.
Yeah.
And then when I read it the second time, I was like, I can't tell. That bothered me a bit.
I like the way that Tony just does it accidentally on purpose.
Oh, yeah.
Whoops. Whoops.
Danny's doesn't open till noon. I guess I gotta. Yeah. Danny's doesn't open till noon. Well, okay, here we go. But that's kind of cool if it's like, it's not a big deal to Tony, and Tony's been doing this for a long time. Also, does Tony's wife know? I want to say, based on some of these other flourishes that I'm seeing, yes, that's my sense. I think she knows, and she's totally cool with it. But I don't know. It's flash fiction, so you don't get a lot of sense of who these people are, and it doesn't matter to the point that's being made with the whole parallel with the sandwiches. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of difficult, isn't it? It's kind of difficult to get into, to work out what the writer's trying to say and trying to do. It looks my one impression was that it looks like it's clever, but I don't know what it's trying to do, except for obviously the sandwich comparison.
Yeah. I just felt the whole thing was somehow more of a poem than a story. I don't know what that means. I wouldn't bring that up if I wasn't on this particular podcast where we're...
As the kids say, it's all vibes.
It's all vibes. I don't know what that means. I hear the kids say that.
What the kids say.
I think that's what it means. It's all vibes.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's more of a vibe. More of a vibe than a story.
Oh, okay. We'll we'll lean on you for the translation. For us.
Vibes,
Tell
guys.
us about the Utes.
Yeah.
Utes of today.
Yeah.
There we are. So yeah. Well, it's better than I thought it was.
Yeah, super cute and fun. It's clever.
Yeah.
It's a neat read.
Yeah. I'm trying to find one of the other flourishes where I was just like, is this Tony talking or is this the narrator? Which, like, I can't remember what it was. Tony knowing oxblood also for some reason made me laugh, especially because earlier that day I was like trying to describe something in writing and I was like, it's not burgundy, it's not wine, and I didn't have the word. Then I read this, I'm like, oxblood, that's the word I wanted. Thank you, Tony.
Oxblood. Yeah.
Oxblood.
Right. When Tony immediately differentiated between burgundy and oxblood, I was like, Tony, you know
done this before. Oh, right. Now I remember one of the other flourishes was and I'm like, who's talking? The sartorial forest. Our arms open and close as we pull fronds from the closet onto the bed, building mounds of cotton, polyester, elastic, and silk. So that metaphor with the fronds in the forest was another one where I'm just like, is this Tony or is this the writer? And if it's Tony, why are you? I don't understand. Like, I don't like yeah, could be. I don't get a sense for Tony. The second sentence has Tony being just like, I want a fucking hoagie. That man's talking about fronds coming out of the closet. Like, all right, could be. Sometimes I want a fucking hoagie. There's a place here called Babe's Corner, and all the hoagies are like 1950s type names, like women's
Johnny
names.
on the spot. Billy.
No. Like it's like the waitress names you would see at like a diner, like Betty, Edith, Agnes, like that kind of stuff. But they're all delicious.
Like Edith Wharton.
One. Yeah, which we're reading next week. I want to go get a Betty.
Yeah.
It's good.
I'm going to get an Edith.
Yeah.
I think it's good.
It's
Fran's pretty good.
Fran's pretty good.
All right. But the story is very short. I don't I don't dislike it. I just wish I knew who Tony was a bit more, but that I think doesn't matter. Like my desire to know who Tony is doesn't matter to the point that the story is trying to make, which it makes. So
I guess.
Yeah. I don't know. When I sat down to read it, I was hoping for more of a narrative through line. Like I knew it was a short piece, but I was like, well, tell me a story here. I'm like, no, I'm going to tell you feelings. I'm like, oh, well.
I mean, there is a kind. It doesn't feel like a story because it doesn't feel like there's been any unless it's his first time. Then there's like a change, but then you're not giving me enough about that change. So I feel like it can't be his first time. It's all a little too casual.
Yeah.
Or maybe it isn't. Maybe the first time, maybe he's been thinking about it a long time and he's ready. He's mentally prepared himself. We just don't have that context.
Yeah, but it's just, I don't know. But it's just feelings.
Right. We don't know anything about Tony.
It's a quilt knit of feelings.
With, some really nice sentences.
By the way, I don't think you knit quilts.
What about the last sentence? Because all of a sudden it said, "We are chocolate melting on your tongue."
Yeah, I didn't like that sentence, but
it doesn't fit with anything else.
Well, yeah, and like a chocolate sandwich, I don't know.
Is a Pop-Tart a sandwich? It's an empanada.
Well, in that you could eat it with one hand whilst gambling.
Yeah, I see.
But you can eat empanadas with one hand whilst gambling, and they're not sandwiches. Therefore, it is an empanada.
They're kind of sandwiches.
You can eat a meat pie with one hand.
You can eat a hot dog with one hand.
It's basically a sandwich. Bread sandwich.
Yeah.
So you have to have peanut butter and jelly. Doesn't have meat, and that's a sandwich.
No, it doesn't have to have meat.
Your life's coming apart right now. All right.
Bread.
Bread isn't food.
You wouldn't just eat nails in a sandwich? Okay.
Yes.
Fingernails or?
No, like hammering.
Oh, no. I
between slices of bread.
Iron nails.
You would eat fingernails? Why'd you have to check? Is one more acceptable than the other?
Wow.
Clearly, this is a short story where we don't have a lot to say. So,
yeah, it sparked a lot of conversation and argument, and a little bit of animosity there.
Well,
so that's good.
Yeah,
that's what we like to see.
What are you? One last question before we wrap it up. What are your preferred words for a hoagie?
I usually will go with a sub sandwich or an Italian sandwich.
Do you have Polish sandwiches? Are there such things?
I've never heard of such a thing.
Okay.
I'm not prepared to say they don't exist.
Okay.
I've never heard of such a thing.
Yeah.
I think I say sub or hero.
Yeah, you say hero? Mm-hmm. I've never known someone who said hero before.
It might be East Coast. When I came here, we're saying grinder.
Wait, you actually know people who say grinder?
Wow.
Yes. Yeah, my D&D group, we were like, "Oh, let's order grinders." I'm like, "What's a grinder?" I don't know. I didn't know what to expect. And then when sandwiches arrived, I was confused.
Grinders.
Okay.
What on earth's going on?
It's not a. I've never heard someone say grinder before and mean it.
I wish I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm generally sandwich. I will sometimes make a chip butty. That's very nice.
A chip butty. All right.
Butty.
I think I've had that when I've been over there.
That has French fries in it.
Yeah.
That has
not chips at all.
Yes. Yeah, we have a crisp butty too. We can have that, but this is a chip butty.
I feel like it defeats the purpose of the crisp.
Yeah.
So
my dad used to make me potato chip omelets.
Do what?
That's not a sandwich at all.
Can you eat it with one hand? No. So it's
no, because the egg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's failed. So what the potato chip? But what's? I mean,
it's pretty straightforward, Gerald. You got some eggs. You got some potato chips. You fold the egg in half.
Like actual potato chips, like crispy, or like like a hash brown kind of thing, like chunks, like little russet potato chunks.
No, like Lay's or Jay's or Vintners.
All right, I don't want to hear any more about your crazy food creation.
And are they put like? Do you make a sandwich of the omelette?
Yeah.
With crisp the chips in the middle.
If you put it between bread, is it a sandwich?
If you put it between bread, that would be like an egg and potato chip sandwich. Yeah.
Oh, you could have multi-layers. You see, you could have bread, then egg, then potato chips, then egg, then bread.
Well, like a pepper and eggs a sandwich.
Yeah.
What's pepper and eggs
sandwich. What's a club sandwich? I don't know.
Club sandwich is a 3-layer sandwich with like turkey, bacon, lettuce, tomato.
Is it?
Yeah.
And is there a piece of bread in the middle?
Yeah, a piece of bread in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Although I've noticed you don't always need that. I've been to delis where they'll call it a club and there's no bread in the middle, but they just go extra thick with the meat and the veggies.
Yeah.
So you don't need the extra bread.
Right.
Unless you call it triple decker, then you do. If you call it triple decker, you better have that middle bread.
Yeah, 3 decks.
Yeah. There's rules.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course there is.
Oh man, this is since we've just been talking about sandwiches. Should I go to Babe's Corner and get a Betty, or should I go to Mr. Corned Beef and get a Reuben? Mr. Corned Beef should be far more of the corned beef. It's so good. All they do is corned beef sandwiches there.
Yeah. Well, my vote.
Yeah.
I vote for Reuben's 100% of the time.
Yeah.
Reubens.
Are Reuben's popular over there, Gerald?
Is that? Who knows? I've never heard of them. Reubens. What's it? Is it salt beef or corned beef?
Corned beef.
Corned beef.
Sauerkraut. Swiss usually. Thousand Island dressing.
On rye.
Or Russian dressing, but it's the same thing.
Yeah.
What the hell?
On rye.
It's corned beef,
Yeah.
sauerkraut,
Hell yeah.
cheese, and then Thousand Island or something dressing.
Yeah.
Gee. Oh no.
Say it again.
Yeah.
That is
Do
a
it again.
travesty.
The crepe shop I go to does a corned beef in March. They call it the Reubenesque. Get it?
Ooh.
Yeah, corned beef and croutons and sauerkraut.
For St. Patty's this year, Adrian made a corned beef here. Like he had it already prepared and he bought it and slow cooked it the entire day. God, that was so good.
Yeah.
Genius.
Corned beef and cabbage.
Yeah, we did the whole thing.
Good. Yeah, I get the cabbage.
All right. We're not talking about the story anymore. We're just talking about
Sandwiches.
let's do ratings.
Oh, gee, do we still have to do that? I thought we'd
Yes.
stop doing that. 4.
Yeah, 4.
Is
Yeah,
okay.
I think 4. I want to say I liked it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
4.
I was entertained throughout, but
Yeah.
mm-hmm. It's flash fiction, so it's limited in what it
Right. It's just a
in the
flash.
space.
A flash
I
in the
think-
pan.
But I
A
think it's
hoagie
then
in the grill.
disappointing. I mean, it's okay, the reading of it, like eating a sandwich. It's just the reading of it was okay, but afterwards, I just think, what was that about?
Yeah.
And
No one thinks that after they have a Reuben.
Nah.
You know
No,
what?
they just go into a food coma.
Right. You sit down with a Reuben, like I know what I'm about.
Do you have
Repeat.
sides with this, Reuben? Do you have some
Coleslaw
Like a
usually.
pickle, maybe. Yeah.
A pickle or
What?
coleslaw.
See,
Coleslaw.
So you have sauerkraut in the
Yeah.
sandwich and
Yeah.
coleslaw on the side. Yeah, gee.
Fucking
No,
perfect.
you people
No
are
notes. Genius.
crazy people. What? I don't
All
know.
right.
Okay.
So next week we are reading A Journey by Edith Wharton. But before you go, tell us your preferred name for a sub in our Facebook discussion group, the Literary Roadhouse Readers. And we're hankering for a Zeppelin. Help us cover our sandwich and podcast expenses at patreon.com/Literary Roadhouse. Every bit helps. And as always, share this podcast with the skirts that meow in your life. Until next time, read a good story.
Yeah. If it's